How to know if you have a real phobia. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm Zachy, and today we're going to talk about something that gets under a lot of people's skin. And no, I'm not talking about bugs. Well, maybe a little. We're diving into the world of phobias. So here's the deal. Everyone's afraid of something. Whether it's spiders, heights, public speaking, or flying, fear is just part of being human. But sometimes, that fear doesn't act like a normal fear. It becomes so intense, so overwhelming, and so irrational that it literally hijacks your life. That's when it might be more than just fear, it might be a phobia. But how can you actually tell the difference? Like, is your fear of elevators just an annoyance, or is it a real psychological condition? By the end of this video, you'll know the signs to look for and how to figure out whether what you're feeling is a typical fear, or something that deserves more attention. Stick with me. Let's start by defining what a phobia actually is. Most people throw the word around like, I have a phobia of Mondays, or I'm totally phobic about pineapple on pizza. Which, by the way, is a totally legit culinary debate, but probably not a phobia. In psychological terms, a phobia is defined as a persistent, excessive, and irrational fear of a specific object, situation, or activity. The key words are persistent, excessive, and irrational. It's not just being uncomfortable or disliking something. It's a fear that triggers a strong reaction, often anxiety or panic, and causes you to avoid that thing entirely, even when there's no real danger involved. The wild part? People with phobias usually know their fear is irrational. They know that the garden hose isn't a snake, or that the elevator isn't going to plummet 30 floors. But their brain doesn't care. It hits the panic button anyway. So, how can you tell if what you're experiencing is an actual phobia and not just a really strong dislike? There are a few major signs to look for. First, the reaction is intense and automatic. You might start sweating, feel your heart pounding, get short of breath, or even have a full-blown panic attack just thinking about the thing you fear. Second, there's avoidance. And not just casual, I'd rather not avoidance. We're talking, I will plan my entire vacation around not having to take a plane kind of avoidance. Or, I'll skip a doctor's appointment to avoid seeing a needle. Third, that fear and avoidance actually interfere with your daily life. Maybe it's holding you back at work. Maybe it's keeping you from socializing. If your fear is limiting what you can do, that's a red flag. And finally, the fear has usually been around for at least 6 months. It's not just a passing phase or something that started last week. Phobias are persistent and often develop over time or after a specific negative experience. If you're nodding your head to all of these, you might be dealing with a real phobia. And don't worry, we're going to talk about what to do about it, too. Let's get into the different types of specific phobias. These are phobias tied to a particular object or situation. There are 5 main categories. First up, animal phobias. This one's pretty common. Fear of spiders, snakes, dogs, insects, you name it. If it crawls, flies, slithers, or jumps, someone's probably terrified of it. Second, natural environment phobias. Think heights, thunderstorms, deep water, darkness. Basically, if it exists in nature and can make you feel vulnerable or out of control, it fits here. Third, situational phobias. Elevators, airplanes, tunnels, bridges, and even driving can fall into this category. These are fears tied to specific scenarios or places that you feel trapped in or unable to escape. Fourth, blood injection injury phobias. This one is fascinating. It's the only phobia where your body may actually faint as a response. People with this phobia can't stand the sight of blood, needles, or medical procedures. Their blood pressure drops instead of rising. Pretty wild, right? And fifth, the other category. This is where we throw everything that doesn't fit into the above. Things like fear of choking, clowns, loud noises, or even specific textures, like buttons. Yes, compound phobia is a real thing. So if your fear fits neatly into one of those boxes, chances are it might be a specific phobia. So let's ask the big question. Why does your brain react like this? Why would someone panic at the sight of a tiny spider? Well, a lot of phobias start in childhood or after a particularly traumatic event. Maybe a dog bit you when you were little, or you got stuck in an elevator once, and your brain made a permanent mental note. This equals danger. From there, It becomes part of a loop. Every time you avoid the thing, your brain goes, "Phew, we survived. Let's keep avoiding that forever." It reinforces the fear. The main culprit here is your amygdala, the part of your brain that controls fear responses. It's trying to protect you. But in the case of phobias, it's basically acting like a car alarm that goes off when a leaf falls on the hood. Now, if you've been watching this and thinking, okay, this sounds a lot like me, don't panic, literally, because the good news is that phobias are treatable. You don't have to live with this forever. The first step? Talk to a therapist. Specifically, someone trained in cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, which is super effective in treating phobias. They'll help you challenge the thoughts behind your fear and learn coping strategies. Another option is exposure therapy. This sounds scary, but it's done gradually and safely. You're slowly introduced to the object of your fear in small doses until your brain realizes, oh, hey, maybe this isn't deadly after all. In some cases, medication can help, especially if the anxiety is really severe. It's not a permanent solution, but it can help you manage symptoms while you work through the root of the fear. And please, don't self-diagnose too hard. The internet can be helpful, but nothing replaces the guidance of a trained mental health professional. So there you have it. Now you know how to tell the difference between a normal fear and a full-blown phobia. You've learned the signs, the science, and the types. Hopefully, you feel a little more empowered and a little less spooked. If you related to anything in this video, or if you learned something new, drop a comment below and let me know. What's a fear you've conquered? Or what's still on your nope list? No judgment. I'm still not a fan of bees. They buzz and I run. And hey, if you enjoyed this, if you like understanding the weird and wonderful ways our brains work, hit that like button and make sure to subscribe to the channel at Zakaprat. I've got more videos coming your way, all about mental health, psychology, and why we do the things we do. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and stay phobia-free. Peace.